All right, what's happening? We're live. This is episode 5 with Wayne from Dallas Hammers. And I guess there's always Wayne. What's happening, Wayne?
You know what? Nothing's ever happening in Texas. You know, that's the biggest state in the union. We won't count Alaska.
Yeah. That's because Alaska's all ice. And it's going to melt as a result of global warming.
Yeah, we won't go political, will we?
Please,
no.
Please, Lee.
No, it's not political. No, listen. As a native Texan, I can tell you, it's part of our mission to pollute the earth enough that we melt Alaska, and Texas once again becomes the biggest state.
I thought it was part of our mission to form a country.
Well,
I mean, I've only been here for like 6 or 7 years, but I thought it was to be a country. The
you know,
Republic of Texas.
We did that in the 1830s, and it didn't go great, actually.
Yeah.
A little shaky. But as soon as we melt Alaska, we'll take our rightful place as the biggest state again. So,
as long as the flag has got some crossed hams on it, I don't mind.
Yeah, no, well, I think that goes without saying. Yeah.
So where in London? I mean, where in England are you from? I mean, you're from London, you said?
I'm actually, it's funny, being a West Ham supporter, you think I'd be from the East End, right? Wrong. I'm actually from Wimbledon.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Going way back. But my granddad's families, they're all Cockneys. So.
Gotcha.
But that's a strange old story how we actually all got into the Hammers, because my granddad's actually from a Millwall family. I know.
How does that happen?
Well, you guys have any brothers?
No.
No.
No? Well, my granddad had a couple of older brothers who used to like beating the living crap out of him. So my granddad realized when he got a little bit older that the best way to get back at his brothers was to pick a team that they absolutely hated to support.
Oh, there you go.
That's how we got into West Ham United.
Oh, thank God you did. Right?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, so that's exactly how we got into West Ham United. In fact, they were from a little place called Camberwell, and they were big Millwall supporters, his brothers. And they lived just off the south bank of the Thames. Hence, you may have heard of a little firm called the South Bank firm. It's prior to ICF, well prior to ICF. But the ICF really took it up a notch. But my granddad and a couple of his mates, they were from the south bank of the River Thames, and they had a little bit of a reputation. And they used to go watch West Ham week in, week out, cause a little bit of trouble. In fact, they weren't liked when they first started going to West Ham, because they were known as the lads from Waterloo. Who, of course, they didn't like them because they were South London lads. And once they found out that my granddad's brothers were Millwall lads, they had a bit of a tough time.
I'm sure.
They proved themselves loyal to the West Ham faithful. And, then my granddad and his mates, they became, West Ham through and through. And that's how I actually became a West Ham supporter when I was 7 years of age. So, and the rest all becomes history. It's kind of a fun time. Back in 1971, I was 7 years of age, and my granddad came round to my mum's house, and I just started school the week prior, and like any proud English schoolboy, my mum had bought me a brand new tan anorak for school the week before, and my granddad comes around and he goes, "Come on, Nipper," he says, "I'm going to take you to football this week." So my mum says, "Okay, well, take care of him." She says, "Because I know you've got that reputation." He goes, No. He says, "I'm leaving my mates behind. I'm just taking the Nipper to football." So we go to football, and first match I ever saw was West Ham against Chelsea, and saw Clyde Best score 2 goals. I don't remember him because I was like down at my granddad's feet with his cigarette ash being dropped on my head the whole time, and bottles being spilt all over me. So all I remember of the match is everyone screaming and singing and shouting, and I loved it. I mean, I didn't see much in the match at all, but I absolutely loved it. But the thing that sticks in my mind about the match was the journey home, because we were travelling home, and my granddad sees these guys coming at us, and he goes, "All right, Nipper," he says, "just grab hold of my leg." And I'm like, "What's going on?" He says, "Don't ask questions, just grab hold of my leg." So I'm 7 years of age, I'm listening to my granddad, and my granddad was a big fella. I grabbed hold of his leg. He grabs hold of the hood of my anorak with one hand, and he proceeds to beat these 2 guys up with one fist. And he wins. He wins. He knocks these 2 blokes out. we get back home to my mum's house, and my tan anorak, my tan like coat, wasn't just tan; it was kind of red and tan. And my mum went ballistic. She went ballistic, and she says, "What?" I mean, the words that came out of my mum's mouth. I mean, I could lie and say I never heard her say those words ever again, but I was always hearing my mum say those words. But she says, "You're never taking him to West Ham ever again. I knew I couldn't trust you to take him. You're never taking him to West Ham again. You're nothing but trouble. You've always been trouble, and you're going to lead him down that road, and you're never taking him again." So she made him promise never to take me to West Ham ever again. Never again. Next week, he turns up in this little Bedford van. She goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm taking him to football." She goes, "No West Ham. No West Ham." He goes, "No, I'm not going to take him to West Ham. We're going to go down to Wimbledon. We're going to watch Wimbledon play." We get in his Bedford van. He sits in the driver's seat. I sit in the passenger seat. He reaches behind his seat. He pulls out two scarves, a West Ham scarf and a Wimbledon scarf. He goes, "Which one do you want?" "West Ham." He goes, "You say a word to your mother, I'll kill you." That was it. That's when the love story started. That's it. And I've been a West Ham supporter ever since.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
yeah, he was a trooper. My granddad was just absolutely brilliant, and that was a great time to really get into West Ham. It's like people like like Billy Bonds playing, Jeff Hurst, Bobby Moore, Trevor Brooking, the old Frank Lampard. I mean, all those good players were playing at that time, and it was a blind, and it was great going to the matches with my granddad.
So aside from the first match you've ever been to, and then obviously the Wimbledon match, like, what was the most memorable match you saw back in England?
God, blimey.
Or the match that you say, you know what, that was the match. I'm so glad I went to that match.
You know what? FA Cup, 1980.
Oh, you were there? Awesome.
Yeah. I wasn't going to go. I was not going to go. And it's funny, my mate Rich, I was talking to him about this last year. And he said, he planned to go and he was all going to go for it. And I said, I wasn't going to go to it. And the morning of, a mate called me up. He says, "Come on." He said, "I've got a couple of tickets." He says, "Let's go." I'm like, I don't know. I fancy it because I was getting in like a bit of bother. And it's like, I was trying to find a way of like getting out of the trouble that I was getting in, to be honest. And then my mate said, "Come on, you have to go." So we go to the pub first. And anyone that knows FA Cup Day in England, it's like it's a major celebration. It's like Super Bowl Sunday over here. It's like it's a whole day's celebration. You go to the pub, you watch the teams in the buses on the television. It's like it's phenomenal. And Wimbledon wasn't top flight club. The West Ham wasn't a top flight club at that time.
right.
I mean, we were in the old second division.
Last club to win it from outside the top.
Exactly. So, and coming up against Arsenal, who were looking like, they were going to be a good squad, and nobody thought we were going to do it. And it was a blinder of a match. And I mean, for Trevor Brooking to head that ball in, and I mean, I screamed so loud, I think I just broke my voice. It just, and then the whole of the rest of the match is like, talk about nerves. I mean, the whole of the rest of the match, you're like, good God, what's going on? It was just absolutely incredible. And then like, God, the drinking afterwards.
I can imagine, yeah.
And you were how old were you? Like, were you like 16 at the time, something like that?
Yeah. I was. I think I was 17.
Yeah.
16 or 17. Yeah, 17 it was. 17. Yeah. And the drinking age here in England is 18.
I think the statute of limitations is passed on that. I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's like it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Just like an incredible time, and just the camaraderie, and just I mean, 1 minute just total elation, and the next minute like everyone's singing in the pub and crying your eyes out because you just done the impossible.
Yeah. And for the last time, that was the last time that last major trophy.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, not that you would know that at the time, obviously, but so you saw some real proper football, and back then. So were you with your granddad? Were you standing on the terraces like old fashioned? Everybody packed in on the terraces.
Yeah, it was.
You
It
read
was
about,
a
hear about.
fun atmosphere. It really was. I mean, you want to say they were the good old days, but it's funny. I'm in two minds. It's like a lot of people say, "Oh, it was." It's sad leaving the old Boleyn and everything, and it's that we're never going to get that back. But I remember many, many, many times standing there in the pissing rain and freezing cold, losing, and going, "Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?" Just hoping for a score, and just hoping that we'll somehow pull a win out of it. Because you're a West Ham supporter because it's in your blood. I mean, you guys don't support West Ham because we're winners, right?
Obviously not.
We talk about that all the time.
No.
No,
West Ham because we're in it for the glory.
we're not glory hunters. No.
It's the memories. It's the tough times. It's the tough times that you support it, and plus, I've flown back and forth between the States and England a lot. I mean, my mother actually, she flew over to the States back over in 19. Crikey, what year was it? 19. I think it was 1970. 1972. We came over to the States for 5 years in 72. So I missed a lot of football.
Yeah, because you couldn't watch it back then. I mean, I'm a little younger than you are. I'm in my 40s, but all we had when I was growing up in Dallas was Soccer Made in Germany on public television.
Yeah.
And there was a Welshman named Toby Charles who was the narrator, and it was an hour long, and they'd show a match, a condensed German match, and he would sort of narrate the action, and that's all we had. Either that, or sometimes a little later on Spanish television, Spanish language TV, we had some games from Mexico or sometimes South America, but there was no English football. Every now and then, Channel 13 would have an English football match against like an hour long, and they sort of have to explain, like, okay, it was always Nottingham Forest and Manchester United, the big clubs of the era from the 70s and the early 80s. But I mean, there was no way to keep up with the matches. There was nothing,
There was nothing at all. Like I said, I came over here in 1972, and like you said, when occasionally there was a match on telly, it was Man U, or it was Liverpool, or
right,
it was freaking Chelsea, or something like that. I remember my mum was dating somebody over here, and he's like, "Oh, your son's into soccer," and he got me a Chelsea kit.
Right, because to him it doesn't make any difference what club it is, right? He's just like, let's get him a soccer uniform.
Let's get him a soccer jersey. And my mum's going, "Well, thank him for the kit." I'm like, "It's Chelsea."
No, you're not going to thank him for that. No,
I'm like, "It's Chelsea. It's Chelsea. I'm not going to thank him for a Chelsea kit." She goes, "Thank you for the Chelsea kit, but I'm really a West Ham supporter." But you couldn't follow anything. You couldn't follow anything, so it was bittersweet. And it's like, I'd phone up family back home, and my granddad would say to me, "Oh, West Ham did good here," or "West Ham's having another crap season," and that's how you would follow it. You'd follow it in there'd be like a tiny section that big in the newspapers over in the States that'd be around it on English football, and you couldn't get to follow it at all. It was like hardly anything on it at all. When I went back to England in 1976, I got back into it, and then I came back to the States again, back in the late 80s, and then it was the same thing again.
Yeah.
The same thing again.
It wasn't until the late 90s that we started getting Premier League, like a Fox Sports had a Premier League wrap-up show, kind of like Match of the Day. Pretty much the biggest Match of the Day. And to be honest, it was pretty good. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
It was, but that was all the Premier League we had. And then I remember, back in the late 90s, the Italian television, we used to get the Italian channel, one of the big Italian, government channels,
Rai Uno.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, Rai.
Yeah.
They would show an Italian match every Sunday morning, and I used to record it. I used to record it on the VCR, and watch it like Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. It didn't matter who it was. I just wanted to see some football, and that was pretty much the only way to do it. So, yeah, it's where we are now in terms of being able to follow the Premier League, actually be West Ham fans, actually watch every game. This is like a miracle compared to 20 years ago.
Even 5 years ago, until they signed the NBC contract, it was primarily on Fox. Fox would be very selective about the games. I remember only really catching Liverpool matches because we live in the Boston area, and since the owners of Liverpool they own Fenway Sports Group, which also owns Nessun, which is our sports network up here. Nessun would have Liverpool matches. So I got to see that on a regular basis, but we would be lucky to catch any West Ham games at all. And then I think it was the 11-12 season when they were in the championship. Last time we were in the championship,
that's right.
I used to have to stream the games online somehow, some way, shady way, or not, because there was no real legitimate way to watch any championship games. But now, I'm sorry, like 2 years later, once they signed the NBC contract, Fox ended up taking over championship football. So they'd have select matches. We could watch championship games, which was, a blessing, just to see something different from once in a while, especially for American fans. Like we could catch Derby, play Blackburn or whatever. But once NBC signed that deal, they were playing every single match, every single Premier League match, the first 2 years of that contract. Or I think maybe even 3 years of the contract. The last 2 years, it's been very selective. You have to have NBC Gold packages and
I feel like they sort of spoiled this there. I don't know.
They did, and then they took it away.
No, they did. They because Fox never showed every match. Fox would tape delay these things, and sometimes if you got West Ham, you'd get it on like Monday afternoon. You get a Saturday match on Monday afternoon. You know what you're going to get. You have to record it and watch it later. But yeah, NBC for the first couple of years gave us everything, and it was great.
Everything.
They used all their networks. They used like CNBC. They used Lifetime. All the
Oxygen.
Right. Exactly.
Random
all their properties. Then they did a bait and switch, and they hit us with Gold, which of course is a subscription package, and it's just not great. It's better than what Fox did because at least you can watch the games.
It's better than nothing.
It's better.
100%, 100%.
It's a long way from perfect.
But regardless, Talk Sport.
Yeah, they really. I think a lot of us, especially like running a supporters club, we really. In 2012 we started the Dallas Hammers, and it was tough to get started because, like you said, there was occasional game here, there, and you had to pick your games, and so West Ham was hardly ever on the telly.
Yeah.
Hardly ever. So when we did have a game, we'd get maybe half a dozen people together to watch it because there was never a game on TV. When they started showing everything, we really started pulling people in. We would have 35, 40, 50 people come to the pub and watch a game with us. Then as soon as they did the Gold thing, it's like people are like, I don't know that I want to drag myself out of bed to watch a dodgy stream. And then it's like, of course, the stream's up and it goes out and everyone goes, Wayne. I'm like, I want to change my bloody name.
Of course.
It's like, I don't know why it's not working. Get off the bloody internet. It's like, the pub is doing their best to try and get it up for us. And I'm streaming it off of this bloody thing. It's like, it's like, do me a favor. So they did us wrong. They did do us wrong.
No, I agree with you. They did. And Gold is not great. It doesn't work half the time. Last time I watched up with my friend Ken up in New Hampshire, we ended up watching on his computer because he couldn't get it to work on his TV. Gold kept showing the Liverpool match every time we tried to get it to stream to the TV. So we sat at his kitchen counter and watched. And then we watched. It was the Bournemouth game. We lost 2-0 anyway. So that was just a real, fantastic way to spend a Saturday morning. But so. Did you find in Dallas that you were, did you recruit West Ham fans, or did you start this group and realize that there were just all these West Ham people who were sort of hanging out in Dallas and you didn't know they were there?
It's really kind of weird. Back in, it was Boxing Day 2011. A mate of mine, I was, a fan of the MLS because there wasn't another product to watch.
Yeah.
And, somebody from FC Dallas said, there's this guy called Rich. He was a West Ham supporter too. And it turns out that Rich and I knew each other from American football back in London.
Really?
Because there was seriously, right? There was an American football league that played back in London many, many, many years ago. And
oh yeah, the old World League, yeah,
World Football
well,
League.
it's actually
Yeah.
called World League. This was a league that was sponsored by Budweiser, and it was like amateur teams.
Oh, okay.
Team was the first team to ever play in London. A team called the London Ravens, and he was a supporter of our arch opposition called the London Olympians. We didn't know each other at that time, only through American football. I didn't even know he was a West Ham supporter. Didn't even know that. So we get together and we find out that we're friends from those days as well. That we're rivals, so we become good friends. He says to me, "Yeah, the Boxing Day match. Guess what? They're going to show the West Ham match. I can't even remember who was playing on Boxing Day." So we go out to the Londoner pub, which is we're lucky here in Dallas. We've got a few bars that show football. The Londoner pub, run by an Englishman, they show a lot of football matches. It's a good atmosphere. We go up there. We get a little bit stonkered, me, him, and another guy called Dave. And it turns out there's a camera crew there from NBC. I'm a bit of a media whore. Just a little. So I'm like, come on, let's do a chant for him. Well, as it happens, it's like, even I'm a media whore, Richard gets most of the interview done. So we
It was Birmingham, by the way.
Exactly. It was Birmingham, right?
Yeah.
On that match. So we have a laugh, we have a bit of a laugh, and then it turns around, we come to the playoff match against Blackpool to go up back up into the Premiership.
Yep.
So Rich and I said, you know what, let's go up to the Londoner and watch this match. It'll probably just be me and you. We turn up at the Londoner, and there's a dozen West Ham fans.
Wow.
So we all kind of congregate together.
Where did they come from? Do you know? I mean, where did they come from? Did you guys reach out to them in some way, or were they?
No, at all. We just turned up. So everyone just kind of turned up because it was known that that's the place to go watch football.
Yeah.
So we all turn up, and there's this one East End lad by the name of Phil, and he goes at halftime. He comes up to me, and goes, "Yeah, you look like the sort of lad that likes to organise stuff." He says, "So don't mess around. Get everyone's email addresses, and let's get this thing organised." So I did.
And so these guys were English guys, right? They were from East London, or they were
English guys and a couple of American guys.
Do you have any proper Texans in the group? Do you have any native Texans in the group?
Totally. Yeah, we got a real mix of a group. I mean, right now I'd say we probably got half a dozen Londoners and everybody else is American.
And so you started by reaching out to them. And what did you guys do after that? Did you go on social media, or how did you sort of expand?
Totally. I'm big into social media. I opened up like a Twitter account, Facebook account, Instagram account, any account I could open. So I just blasted it out there. We tried to find like a bar that was local that would host us. We found one. Unfortunately, that bar closed down. So then what we did is we started going to other people's bars, because the big teams like your Liverpools, your Chelseas, your Man U's, they've got their big groups because they're big teams and everybody jumps on the bandwagon, don't they?
Of course.
So we decided we were gonna invade people. So we did that for about a year. We invaded people.
That's awesome.
We didn't let them know we were going to invade them. We just turned up and we outsung them. We outnumbered them. We had a blast with it.
Outnumbered them. Outseen them, I can believe, but outnumbered them. That's impressive. Yeah.
Oh, we had a blast with it. I'm not always outnumbered them. Trust me. Because some of them might be watching this and they'll be like having a word with me. But we made some good. We made some good friends. We have a good relationship with the local Man City fans. We went up to them once for one match, and their satellite went out in the middle of the game. So we're all sitting around there. There's only about 6 of us there, West Ham fans, and they got a pub full of Manchester City fans. And we're sitting around and we're watching the match on our phones, and they weren't smart enough to watch the match on their phones. So I turned to everybody on the table and said, "Okay, on the count of 3, let's everyone jump up like we scored." So, they're like, what? We're like kidding, but we had a blast. We had an absolute blast. We still got a good relationship with that group. We have a good relationship with the Chelsea fans, and the only group we don't have a good relationship with are the Tottenham supporters. We don't really care if we do or not. But
everybody says that. That's the theme. That's the theme. Everybody says. Everybody talks about. Everybody else is pretty much okay except Tottenham and maybe Arsenal. Yeah.
But I'm hearing over and over again Manchester City. Though. I'm hearing like in Americans Manchester City support groups so far. It seems that they're not nearly as bad as any of the other groups though as well. Or,
I think
or,
they're good.
or like Everton too. That's another one that keeps popping up as, you know, they're not so bad. We get along with them just fine compared to Man United or Liverpool or
They've suffered.
anybody
They've
else.
put
Yeah.
their time in. They've
Right.
put their time in. They've suffered.
Well,
You
they've
know,
put
they're
the Manchester City.
good
They
people.
put their time in if they go back, you know, prior to the acquisition of the club. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Everton, I think Everton, you're right. I mean, they've had to put up with Liverpool being in the same city, and you know, always kind of being second fiddle. And I mean, we understand how that goes. So
Exactly. But, you know, still, it was tough trying to get a big group together considering we were moving around to pub to pub to pub. And that's when my mate Phil said, he says, you know, so I'm drinking at this local bar. It's a tiny little place, McSwiggan's Irish Pub in the Colony, Texas. So I've got to give a shout out to them. They are fantastic for us. They open up for us early. They take great care of us. They're just really great people. And it's a great little atmosphere there. It's a tiny little pub, but they're just really, they're good. They're good down-home Texas people. I mean, they've got an Irish breakfast there that couldn't be further from Irish.
But the only
Yes, but
breakfast better than an Irish breakfast is a classic Southern breakfast, anyway.
Oh, God, yeah, but they don't have a good classic Southern breakfast either.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It's good pub food. It's good pub food, but I mean, they just got a great attitude there, a great pub. And we said, okay, Phil, we'll try this one pub out once. We went there once. We turned around after the first time we went there. I turned to Rich, who's the founder of the group with me, and we went, well, we think we found our home, don't we? And that's it. So now we do occasional away day. Like this year, we turned up at the Londoner to surprise the Chelsea boys. And usually when we do that, we'll let them know we're going. We didn't this year. And if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see we turned up. They shot the living daylights out of them. They had about a dozen people there, and we turned up with 28 people. So we walk in singing bubbles with our banners and our flags and everything, and they're like, "What's going on? What's going on?" So at the end of the game, we're sticking stickers on their toilet in the Londoner. We've got stickers on their backs and stuff. We just have fun. I mean, there's never any animosity, and that's what I like about the sport over here. Is there's no trouble like there is back home.
Right.
It's great camaraderie. We just have a right good laugh. This year one of our members actually owns a bar down in Deep Ellum in downtown Dallas called Shoals Sound and Service. And he calls me up. He says, Wayne, he says, one of the local guys that comes in the bar, he's a Newcastle supporter. He wants to know if we could get a few West Ham supporters down to watch the Newcastle match. I said, why don't you tell them that you don't know that you can get a few Newcastle a few West Ham fans down there, and we'll mob the place for you. We did, and it's like, you know, one or two turned up like originally, and they had like 5 or 6 Newcastle fans in there, and then finally there was like about 30 West Ham supporters in there, and half of us in Newcastle, and we had a blast with it.
Now, do you guys bring a bubble machine like guys from Columbus?
You know, more power to them. We're not lucky.
That's crazy, man. I love that. It's still my favorite story.
But we've got a bubble machine. We hook it up in the pub in McSwiggan's, and it's like, you know, somebody has to clean that crap up afterwards.
I know.
That's even, well, you guys have you have your own pub, which is nice because I think you're the first West Ham supporters group we've talked to so far who's had your own pub. Everybody else, you know, generally
shares,
like a Liverpool pub or, you know, pub the club with the bigger fan base goes to. But it's nice that you have your own spot. That's I mean, that's unique so far. It's local, like a locally owned place. I mean, have they sort of adopted you? Like, is there, you know, Saturday morning family or?
Oh, we're totally it. We're totally it. I mean, it's they're in Dallas. They're known as the crikey. They're also known as the New England Patriots bar in Dallas.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought there was one, but okay.
Yeah, but they tell us that we're still their favorites. But we're less demanding.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you know, they call us up. They're like, you know, okay, it's a 6:30 match. Do you want to open? And we're considered. Well, I always say to them, look, we're not going to make you open at that time unless I can guarantee we're going to get a dozen people in there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not fair to them. It's not fair to them. And we guarantee we get a dozen people in there if it's an early morning. But But it's funny. It's like sometimes, like the early mornings, we have like 30 people in there for an early morning, and then we'll have a game that's an 11:30 kickoff, and we'll have like 20 in there, and it's like, so I can never tell what's going to go on.
And do you think, have you guys been able to like recruit people into being West Ham? I mean, I'm just wondering if there's been, I don't know, have you sort of pulled people in who were either neutral fans or they just sort of like the game?
Totally. In
fact, how do you do that?
Just by being friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that come into the bar. We're very aware of what's going on around us. We're rowdy. I mean, it's part of football, right? You've got to be rowdy.
Yeah.
So we notice when people come in the bar, myself, we've got another guy called Adam that's really great at like pulling people into it. All of us make a concerted effort to walk up to people that we've not seen before, introduce ourselves, bring them up to the bar, buy them a drink if we can, talk to them about, are they interested in football? We even converted a Manchester United supporter 2 years ago. Young
Good,
man. She was a big man.
You gotta convert people before the Baptists get to them down there, So
yeah, seriously, right?
Yeah.
It's like we've got a reputation of just being a really friendly group, and we thrive on that. It's like we don't like to say. You jokingly said everything's bigger and better in Texas.
I wasn't joking.
No, I know you weren't. But we don't like to say that we're the best out there because we're not. We haven't met everybody out there, but we do like to say that we're friendly and we like to have a laugh. And that's just the way we push it. We just like to be friendly with people if we can. We're not going to like everyone. Guess what? You're never going to like everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a couple of times we're strict as well when people come in our group. It's we have a laugh. We allow people to curse in our group. It's part and parcel of it. It happens. But we've got a couple of strict rules. There's no talking politics. There's no talking religion, and there's no animosity. If you're having a fight with somebody within the group, you keep it outside the group. Keep it outside of the group, or you're out of the group.
Smart. That's really smart.
And it's like, and we've got people that Texas is Texas. Everyone's got a big opinion.
Right.
Okay. We've got people like most recently with all the political stuff that's going on. We've got people who are best friends who are the left wing, so far left wing that you wouldn't want to take a bath with them. And you've got people who are so far right wing that you wouldn't want to scrub with them either. It's like, but we're all great mates because we're West Ham family. Yeah. And we just don't cross that line. We don't cross it.
Yeah.
I noticed that in London though. I mean, when I went there last May, that you wouldn't believe the different walks of life that would go, hold, side by side to the match from the pubs and it's getting along, cheering together, singing songs. I mean, it was just amazing.
I think our religion is West Ham.
I think it was the humor. I think it was the humor of the West Ham fans that what drew me to, a lot of what drew me to West Ham was just the the fact that the fans had a sense of humor about the club and they were serious about it, but they were also they could laugh at themselves because you have to, right? They could laugh. They could laugh at the whole situation, and I think that I'm not sure that's the case in every other fan base. I've got a couple of friends who are Liverpool, and they're good guys, but they say the Liverpool fans are pretty intense. And I think with West Ham, you have to laugh sometimes because it's you're gonna cry if you don't laugh.
Well, no, my granddad said to me, like when I guess it was about 2-3 years after I got into West Ham, and I was getting really, really wound up because you do.
Yeah.
And he said to me, he goes, son, he says, you can't let it get to you. He said, because you'll end up killing yourself. He said, we are who we are. He says, we're not a big club. We've got a big heart, but we're not a big club. He says, you have to have fun. You have to have fun. You have to make fun of yourself because God knows everyone else is going to make fun of you. He said, and that's the way it is. He says, but the one thing that they can never take away from you is that you got the best family ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said,
it's true.
Definitely.
We carry that over here as well.
We've been talking to people, I think this is our 5th episode, and I think this is the 4th we've done with a different supporters group, and we've got people scheduled out all the way into May now to talk to us, and we found the same thing. Different cities, different walks of life, different origins. Everybody comes together. one thing I'm curious about, I don't know if you know this or not, how far away do people come from to be part of your group? Because Texas is big and the distances are long. You get them coming from, a long
We got
way.
people making an hour and a half drive.
Yeah, they're coming from like where I'm from. Then they're coming from like down in Ellis County, down in Spittle County.
We've got people making an hour and a half drive. We've got a couple of people that drive down a couple of times a season from Oklahoma.
Yep, I can see that. Yeah, which is like still a couple of hours from where you are.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's far. I mean, one of our we got a guy James. I'll give him a call out. He's one of our greatest guys. American lad. He couldn't be more Texas than James, and also he's a book. It's like I've never met anybody that knows more about West Ham than James, and he's only got into West Ham probably the last, I guess, 8-9 years, and he drives a heck of a long way to come to matches, and also does the best barbecue I've ever tasted in my life.
Oh, now see, I like the sound of that.
This dude, he's
the barbecue of the Tex-Mex. It's not any better. It's the best.
We did the opening match of this season. We did it was the opening match that was the 6:30 kickoff this season.
Liverpool might have been, yeah.
Yeah,
that sounds right.
He put up a couple of briskets. Briskets and brought them to the pub because it was too early for the pub to open for food. Oh my God, James's briskets are to die for, absolutely to die for. And
that's the best stuff.
A good person. Corey, who's another American lad, great barbecuer. I mean, just we've got good Texas people in our group. I mean, really good Texas people in our group. We've got younger people joining the group now.
That's good.
It's really cool. It's like Rich and I will stand together, and we've done this like just about every season. And Rich and I are like, we're the old bold London lads. And we'll stand around and we'll just look, and he'll say to us, he says, we started something special here, and we know we did, because it is a family. We've got people from all walks of life. We've got men, we've got women, we've got people from all walks. Last year I went through some health issues. The group, I lost my job, health issues. The group rallied round. They made me have a fantastic Christmas. We carried on that tradition this year. We're doing something every year where, as a group, we take care of a family at Christmas. We do a big whip round and we take care of a family with food and toys and stuff like that. So that's a little tradition that we do every year at Christmas. It's just a great feeling. We just love being together. It's a great family. It really is a great family.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So I have a two-parter for you.
Sure.
One, for groups that already exist, West Ham supporters groups already exist. What are some tips and pointers? And also, for groups that don't exist, like how do you start? How did you? I know you already tapped on like how you start, but like what do you recommend a brand new group starting? And also, like I said, existing groups, what do you do that they might want to do to help get more people or do something different?
Okay, I mean, first of all, it's like every group is different, and I'll say that first. So, what necessarily worked for us may not work for you. So, find what works for you, and for the groups that do exist, you're going to go in ups and downs, and don't let that discourage you. I mean, we started off this season with 63 people at our opening game. We had games during this season where we had 12 people. And it would have been very easy to turn around and gone, oh, sod it, I'm not bothering going anymore. But, groups go through stuff. Don't give up. Keep on plomping away on the social media. Guilt people into it. I guilt people into it. I don't care. I'll get on instant messenger. I'll get on emails. I'll be like, what the heck's happened to you? Are you okay? Are you alive? We haven't seen you in a long time. I've missed you. Everyone's talking about you. Is there something that's going on? Don't give up on people. Because sometimes it might be something simple like, they just need somebody to say, "Hey, where have you been?"
Yeah.
Okay. Use the social media. I think the one thing is it's great going around to other bars and stuff. If you can find a place where you have it every single week and every single match, even if there's just 5 of you, do it. Be known that that's the place where you meet for matches.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. A mate of mine, Keith, who started up the Bayou Hammers, the Houston Hammers, he had like just like four or five people last year. They got like easy 20 people coming to a match this year, and they found a great little bar that just like lets them do it. They're the only people that go to their bar. Don't be afraid to ask a bar, hey, you don't have anybody that comes in your bar? I can guarantee a good 10 people every Saturday morning for you.
Right.
Yeah.
When it's usually going to be empty. So yeah.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to find out one little bar.
Yeah.
You don't have to share with a bunch of Liverpool gits. You don't have to share with a bunch of Manx. You don't have to share with a bunch of Chelsea. You don't have to.
Yeah, I think
they all want your business.
Yeah.
I think having your own pub is fantastic, and I honestly think that. I mean, it's hard for us because the guys who go to the pub down in Boston, again, they're pretty good distance away from us, and it's not easy to get around this part of the country. It's not like Dallas where you have beautiful big wide highways everywhere. But I think it'd be great if we had, our own place. So that's probably something that we should.
That's what I'm itching towards. Yeah, and we're going to discuss that soon. I think we should definitely get our own place around here, Lowell area.
Lowell. I mean, there's a lot of. Well, we know there's some soccer fans in Lowell.
Yeah.
Well, there definitely is, but I know there's some West Ham fans in the area too. I mean, they just not.
I mean, there's got to be a pub in Lowell that would open up at 10 o'clock.
But we'd make new ones, just like Wayne here. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
We'll convert.
Serious.
Yeah.
So when we established ourselves in 2015 at McSwiggan's, the first time we went to McSwiggan's, there was half a dozen of us. Within a month, we had 20.
Perfect.
And that whole year, 2015-16 was special. I mean,
oh yeah.
I don't know that if Body Snatchers came down and replaced our team with a whole bunch of aliens or what. I mean, I don't know. That wasn't West Ham that I remember. But I mean, we had upwards of like 35, 40 every single match, and new people every single week. And it was brilliant. And it was just because we just kept saying, come on back. We'll be here every single week.
And how what do you average now? How many people?
Well, we never have less than 25. Never.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah.
That's great.
The 25 to 35 is really good. Like I said, we usually start at the beginning of the season with about 50, 60, depending on what the run's like. Really is.
Oh yeah, it was a horrible run at the beginning of the season.
Oh, bloody hell.
Well, sure.
That'll scare anybody away.
The store numbers go boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom,
dropping
boom,
those first four
went down.
I mean, I was trying to after we dropped the first 4 games, I was trying to remember who carries the championship in the U.S. So we could watch it.
Seriously,
it was terrifying. So we have about 15 more minutes until 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in Dallas. Do you want to talk about Fulham? Do you guys want to
sure. Fulham? Let's talk about Fulham. They're a shit team.
Yeah.
No, I've got a piece.
Listen, my cousin.
We'll probably lose to him tomorrow.
No, we probably will.
Yeah. No. My cousin's a Fulham supporter, and yeah, I feel bad for him.
Your cousin's a Fulham supporter?
I've got a good friend who's a Fulham supporter, and he used to be a Chelsea and a Man City supporter, and he asked me last year to get him tickets for a West Ham match, and he wanted me to get him tickets for West Ham Arsenal. I said I can never do that, mate. You're never going to get tickets.
No.
And instead he ended up getting tickets for a Fulham match and became a Fulham supporter. So this year he's realizing what it's like to be a real supporter.
Well, Fulham picked up some supporters in the U.S. years ago because Brian McBride played there. He was an American striker on the 2002 World Cup team, if you don't that far back. And then, of course, Clint Dempsey played at Fulham. Now, Clint was a Texan. Clint was from Nacogdoches, but he played his club football in Dallas. when he was growing up. So he has a long history in Dallas. So Fulham picked up a lot of. I knew people in Texas who supported Fulham at least for a while because there was a strong American connection there. So I can sort of
Clint Dempsey, especially. Yeah.
Well, I love Clint Dempsey. I mean, if Clint Dempsey played for West Ham, he'd be the greatest person ever walked the face of the earth. Obviously, because he'd be a Texan who played for West Ham. But, by the way, I have to say, Dallas has a long history of youth soccer, excellent youth soccer over the years. My cousin played in the '80s for a big club down there. It's a lot, and also the old indoor soccer too. Anybody remembers the old Dallas Sidekicks? I used to love them back in the '80s. I just throw a little shout out there in case anybody's watching who's as old as I am and from Dallas. Yeah, so Fulham picked up some Americans. I get that. As far as the match goes, so curious to see what we do with Lanzini. Does he start? There's no way he plays 90 minutes, surely. I mean, not after.
You say that, but I mean, Pellegrini's talking about the way he's playing right now, that he's ready to start him. That he's talking about he has no fear. And let's face it, when you come back from that sort of injury, it really is the fear factor.
Yeah, it is. We could have potentially Nasri, Lanzini, Anderson, and Struppy, Arnautovic in the same.
They're saying no Nasri again.
Oh, are they saying no Nasri again?
They just said that. I think this morning I saw.
Oh, okay, because I know
no Nasri again.
I know Balbuena is kind of a doubt. I don't know if Balbuena is going to be in the squad or not. He's kind of a doubt to start. Looks like we're going to have Balbuena back there again, which I'm a big fan of Balbuena, and I can't wait for him to come back.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the guy's been. I think between him and Diop. I mean, defensively, I think we've had fantastic pickups this year. I mean, between them and Fabianski. I mean, Fabianski for me has been everything this year.
He's hammer of the year, and it's not even close. I mean, as much as I love Declan Rice, Fabianski's hammer of the year, it's not even close.
Yeah. I don't see anybody else. I mean, we've got a great squad. When we get these injuries back, I think we've got a phenomenal squad. We really do.
Oh, when we get Yarmolenko, when you start looking at Yarmolenko, Lanzini, Anderson, who knows if Arnautovic, what he's going to be next season? Who knows? But you look at Snodgrass. You're going to have trouble getting everybody onto the pitch at the same time. I mean, if you can get everybody healthy, we have a really solid team, and I feel as though, despite everything I know about West Ham, I think if we can stay healthy going into next season could be like a top 7 season potentially.
Yeah.
We've got the manager, we've got the players. We just need to be, we need to beat Bournemouth and Burnley the same way we beat, Manchester United and Everton and Arsenal. So. But tomorrow, I'm curious to see, what we do with Lanzini. I'm curious to see. I would assume Arnautovic will start up top. I almost think he has to. He's still the best option we have. So does he?
Because Chicharito just has been doing nothing.
He's been doing nothing.
Right. But Arnautovic has to prove why he's our number one, because he's going out there and it just doesn't look like he's going for it. He's not playing like a guy that has that hunger.
No, but that's the thing. But tomorrow it will be that day that he will, or he can. Better. Well, exactly. But I mean, that's just how he is. We don't know. But then as soon as he sets foot on the pitch, he could just tear it up. Especially when everybody's against him. I don't know.
If he starts, he's a better player. He doesn't like coming off the bench.
100%. 100%.
His ego gets bruised. So if he starts, he's a better player. Hopefully, he's going to get better service, especially if Lanzini starts. What
about Fredericks or Zabaleta? Like, which one?
Fredericks is kind of our future there, but I sure like Zabaleta better right now. I just think he's a better player.
I agree with that.
I don't know that Fulham just has a nasty strike force, so maybe it's not.
They don't, but they have speed, though. They do have speed.
Well, Mitrovic is a great little play. He's a bruiser. If he goes in there strong, you're going to need somebody with experience like Zabaleta that could.
I agree with that.
That can general that backfield there and tell them how to stop him from getting through. I really think that's the key there.
Schürrle scares me more than that, though. I mean, Schürrle scares me more than any of them. Out of anybody on the squad right now. I mean, he'll find a strike from no one's paying attention to him, or no one thinks he's a threat, and then just laser shots.
Yeah, and they're desperate. I mean, they're You're a wounded animal. That's dangerous. And we're kind of an inconsistent mid-table club, and we've been a little up and down the last few weeks. I think it's a very dangerous match for us, to be honest. On paper, we should win this 2-0, 3-1, something along those lines.
But it should also be embarrassing for, I don't know, not half their squad, but I'd say almost half their squad we were linked with, pretty much, jokingly. Mawson, who's going to be injured for the match, I hope. You had Kearney, you had Seri. We were linked with pretty much all of them, and Seri took less money, I guess, to sign with them than play with us. And what was the other one? God, no, Kearney was the one that we all wanted. I mean, he's pretty much their best player all around, 100%. Sessegnon is the future for them.
Yeah, he's a good, that kid's a good player.
100%. Their defense is shit. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Well,
no matter who they play.
I'm hoping we can bang in, at least 3, because I feel as though with some of the guys we have coming back healthy, and if Arnautovic decides, if he starts up top and decides to play, I think we can win this game with firepower, basically.
If you want to score that many goals, we need a striker to play the game tomorrow. To actually show up and strike,
Yeah, absolutely.
Not Chicharito running around and Arnautovic pouting all around, throwing his hands up, stuff like that. We need a striker to play tomorrow.
2-1. 2-1 for one reason only. And that's because we're not wearing those shitty third shirts.
Oh, God.
Those fucking shirts, man. Those pajamas. Those dirty pajamas.
Dirty laundry? Yeah, the dirty laundry shirts. Who approved those? I mean, who looked at those and said, yeah, those will sell. Yeah, those will look good on TV. I don't know. I mean, that must have been David Sullivan himself, or maybe his son did it. I don't know. Because I don't understand that. Man,
it's funny. It's funny that the amount of shit that we talk about David Sullivan and David Gold, and yet we're the ones that keep talking how our dream out of this is to be invited over to England, and if they were ever to go back and check our shows, they'd be like, "Oh, David Gold's batshit crazy," says Tim, and Lee thinks David Sullivan's a piece of shit. And
I like David Gold. I like David Gold. He's an East End guy.
I like him too. He's a batshit crazy uncle. Yeah.
I don't even mind Karen Brady. She's a business person. You know what? Fine, whatever. I'm really.
What did you just say, Tim? Huh? You don't even mind Karen Brady?
I kind of don't.
No, that's Lee. Don't say Tim.
Oh, sorry.
Lee said that.
I mean, I'm that much shock. I'm mixing up names here.
That's okay.
No, it's okay. It happens every episode.
It happens every episode.
Oh my God.
Sullivan is the one who bothers me the most. There's really nothing about him that I like. But yes, since really one of the reasons for doing this is we want West Ham to invite us over to see a match, I should be saying, I love the board. The board's great.
Don't you think West Ham should do more for the supporters groups and the supporters in the US anyway? Reach out more for them.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Tim, Theo, our buddy Theo.
Don't say buddy.
Well,
my buddy.
All right. What? Anyway, this guy we know. He's a Tottenham guy. The Tottenham.
Buddy, the Tottenham guy?
No, he's all right.
Come on, that's a oxymoron.
Your experience, we had different experiences with him, but all I'm saying is he's a Tottenham supporter, and he says Tottenham, the club does all kinds of stuff for Tottenham supporters.
Same with Chelsea.
Yeah, they have sent the Boston Tottenham group autographed shirts, autographed balls, all sorts of certificates saying oh, you're an official, Tottenham, whatever. I mean, so it would be nice if West Ham would acknowledge that we're over here doing this. And that's one of the, we want to use this channel to bring people together and kind of share experiences and, talk about what we're doing in different parts of the country. But I also hope that we can get attention, at the Olympic Stadium in East London and get people to look at us and say, hey, we've got a big group of American supporters. Look, we've got 15, 20 supporters groups we've already got lined up to talk to us here on our show. There's, I don't know how many around the country, and it'd be nice.
It's over 50. I mean, I told you, when before you guys came along, we tried to organize that American Ironworks group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had over 50 different groups. 50 different groups that we found that were organized in various forms throughout the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be nice if they would, I don't know, show us a little love somehow. I mean, send us, I don't know what, but I feel as though they don't really acknowledge us at all. And, you know, this is a big growth market for the Premier League. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Me and I have a lot of like ideas, you know, we've been bouncing back and forth off the air daily since we started this, that we want to really set up.
Yeah.
And that will come out over time. And we also want you, Wayne, behind the scenes to be a part of that. We want to run some ideas by you, see if maybe you can, you know, bounce ideas back and try to get this thing going and bigger and bigger and bigger. We want this whole thing to evolve.
You got my support on it. I mean, I think this is a great idea. I mean, when we were doing the Ironworks thing, we were trying to like get people more involved, and I don't think the time was quite right for it. Plus, I think this is a much easier medium because people want to be seen and heard.
Mm-hmm.
They really do.
Yeah, it's really funny. I mean, since we had Columbus on, since we had I can't remember his name, Kevin from Columbus on a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tim sends me a message every day. Says, well, we've got somebody scheduled for, you know, we're doing Mondays and Thursdays now. You know, Monday night, Thursday night, Monday night, Thursday. We've got a whole calendar that's just lined up. I mean, everybody wants to come on. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody wants to be seen.
Yeah, I'm going to bust the Alamo City chops big time. I'm like, dude, what, you know, just because we're going on, you have to go on now?
That's awesome. No, it's crazy that, you know, actually there's a couple guys that are scheduled up to coming soon, and they're like, hey, we know a couple of the guys from the other supporters groups. Do you want me to reach out to them for you? Have you heard from them yet? And it's very supportive. I've got a lot of support from the guys so far. And also, once we run through them all, like once we want to do every supporters group first, run through it before we bring it, you know, regurgitate the guests and stuff like that. But also after we make it through, we want to have maybe a different person from, right, or even have you back, but also maybe a different person, or maybe you and somebody else can join us and have a four-man chat or something like that. But yeah, just keep it going, keep having different people on, and just seeing how things are going and how things are progressing, or if things are not doing so hot, hey, how can we fix that as a group? You know?
Yeah, I think it'd be nice if you had a spot like where you had somebody who is new to one of the groups. Like, what made them want to get involved with the group?
That's a great idea.
I mean,
what made them come back?
Yeah. Exactly. And like 2 weeks ago, we had, or like last week, I can't remember. There's so many things going on. DC Irons, when they were on, they didn't have a founder on. They actually had someone who is just a higher up regular. They know he's not actually one of the founders. So that was kind of cool.
One of the big fans. We want to eventually. I mean, the ultimate dream would be for West Ham to, you know, for us all as supporters groups to get as many people together as we can. And all
go over together. Go over to England. Catch a match.
Right.
All go to the Olympic Stadium en masse, like hundreds of us, thousands of us. I don't know if thousands is realistic, but hundreds of us going over at the same time and just have a huge reunion over there. That would be the ultimate goal. But I would really love to, you know, I have, Tim and I both have young kids, and I mean, I almost never leave New England anymore. we vacation here, we do everything here. Unless I travel for work, I don't really leave New England. So, but you know, I would love to get to the point where I can travel to different parts of the country.
Correct.
Go down and visit family in Dallas. Maybe when my mom goes back down, go down with her, visit family in Dallas, go up to McKinney one Saturday morning and watch a game. You know.
Yeah.
And take the phone and take some video and just get the atmosphere and then put it on the channel and say, here's what they're doing in Dallas. I mean. Yeah.
That's kind of what we want. You know, eventually, we want sponsors for too. You know, we don't care about the money. What we're talking about is, hey, can someone pay me and Lee to go fly to Vegas to go catch a match there with their supporters group, or fly up to Seattle or whatever for the weekend and catch a match and do an episode there. You know, that's what we want also to evolve into.
Channel. It's not something that, believe me, if we could get rich doing this, I would get rich doing this, but I don't.
Like I said, I've done podcasting for years, and nobody ever gets rich doing it.
No.
It's not about that. It's about, you know, it's about wanting. Honestly, for us, I think it was about being two guys in an area where we don't have a big West Ham supporters group, at least for now. Although the guys in Boston have done a good job trying to bring people together. It's got nothing to do with them. Boston's a difficult city to navigate, and you know, it's if you live in one part of it, it's hard to get to another. So it was about us not knowing that many other West Ham fans and thinking, you know, let's see who else is out there, and let's connect with them. And you know, but if you know, a sponsorship type thing that would allow us to, first of all, have me, maybe not be on my brother-in-law's iMac in the attic or MacBook or whatever this thing is, and then
in my little corner in my room.
right. And then,
I just got this the other day from eBay for like $5.
yeah, see
Just so I could like cover the wall a little bit.
I can't even my wall slants, and if you want to see my flag, I have to tilt the camera.
Piece of shit, fucking this bastard right there. I should draw like put a crutch on him, or maybe his knees are scabbed. Look, that's funny. Yeah, he must have surgery.
I'm still taking back.
Bastard.
I take it back though.
Dude, I'm going to say it's about three years ago. I think it was 2 or 3 seasons ago. It's when Carol just come off an injury, and I'm.
Oh, you're talking about Carol? Yeah, sorry.
Carol, that's Carol. Sorry, you
I'm
can't
sorry.
say
I'm sitting at the bar with my buddy Rich, and we're all talking about Carol this and Carol that, and I'm like, I can't stand the guy anymore. He says, I'm telling you, the guy just needs a good run. He just needs a good run. He's fantastic. He comes on the field. He goes, I'm telling you, I think this guy could come good. As soon as my buddy Rich said that, Carol went down with a friggin' injury.
Of course he did.
What's funny is back in 2000, I think it was 11. Sorry, summer 2012. That's what it was. Summer of 2012. I went to, because there's no English soccer matches here. Even the ones that come, they don't come to Boston unless it's Liverpool. So anyway, Tottenham was going to Baltimore to go play Liverpool. And my dad, bought me tickets. Me and him drove down all the way to Baltimore to catch that. And obviously the Liverpool section, which is this giant 60,000 seat stadium, more than half was allocated for Liverpool. And 40%, maybe 30-40% was for Tottenham, and I got stuck in the Tottenham section. Of course, I was wearing my West Ham stuff. And I didn't care because they're not going to do it. They're a bunch of pussies anyway. But anyway, Andy Carroll was at the match. That's what I was getting to. Sorry, beat around the bush there. But so Andy Carroll was there, and I kept going like this. Hey, Andy, go sign, because there was rumors at that point that he was going to sign for West Ham. This is before he actually signed that summer. Before he signed. And, it was kind of trippy to see him. Next thing you know, 3 weeks later, he ends up signing that loan deal. And, shit, I regret that. But,
oh, my God.
When you signed him, I was so excited. I thought,
I was too.
Massive superstar. This is our ticket to Europe.
Compared to what we had,
Right, he's a great
at that time.
when he's not injured. He was. Just not anymore.
No, he's completely lost it now, obviously. And
yeah, it's
come to MLS. He needs to come here to the U.S., play in MLS, finish out his career. That's the time is right for him to do that.
Yeah.
I got a couple. Announcements and also some shout outs to mention. But Wayne, please, if there's any more shout outs you'd like to talk about, or any where you guys, we already know where you're going to be watching the match. But if there's anything else you want to mention before we go, now's your floor.
Just wherever every week at match time we're on. We'll be at McSwiggan's Irish Pub in the Colony. Follow us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter, or follow us on Instagram. And if you can't find us anywhere, just go to Google, put Dallas Hammers in Google. We turn up every single search on the first page.
Do you have any of those scarves? Do you have any more of those scarves you got behind you? Because that's nice with the skyline on it. That's nice.
It's funny. We're doing an order of new scarves. These ones, we did these a couple of years ago, and we're actually getting a bunch of new scarves. We should be getting them in about 4 weeks' time. We're going something a little bit. These ones were very heavy. That we did like these heavy HD woven scarves, which they're just really freaking heavy. So we did some knit scarves. I'll get you guys a scarf.
I'll buy one off of you. I'll contribute.
I'll buy one off you.
I'll buy one off of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it on Instagram, and we'll share that post too.
I gotta have one from Dallas. I think that's absolutely fantastic, and I don't know what the new ones are gonna look. I love the design you got behind you there.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
he made a post on Twitter, and I'll make sure we retweet that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I'm surprised how much the shipping costs for these flipping things.
Oh, I bet.
It's ridiculous.
Well, they get heavy after they pack them in a box, man. Those scarves,
As crazy as I said to my buddy, I said, how much is it going to cost to ship these scarves out? He said, you're looking at $10 a scarf for these things. I'm like, get out of here.
No, we've been through that. Tim and I have a little bit of history. We ran an NPSL club for a while in Lowell, and we did a lot of merchandise, and it's surprisingly expensive.
I tell you what, I do have a shout out for one person. One of our Dallas Hammers flew back to England this year. His name's Charlie Kelman, and he's playing for Southend United right now.
Nice.
He just got the second division goal of the month last month.
I saw that. Yes.
He's a great little player, great kid. He played for the FC Dallas youth team while he was over here. Him and his dad have been members of the Dallas Hammers for a while now. So shout out to Charlie Kelman, and also we've got another couple of our members, Imanol, who's just signed a college deal and played for the FCD youth. We want to wish him the best of luck. So we're doing good.
Where's he going to school? Do you know? Do you know where he's going to college?
I want to say oh gosh, I think it's Indiana.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good program. Yeah, that's a very good.
Indiana. I can't remember now. I think it's Indiana.
That's
my
great.
man is going to kill me for not remembering it.
That's all right.
But it's great. It's like it's nice that all of these people that have been come to the matches at the pub for the past few years. Now we're seeing that they're getting somewhere.
I want to mention very briefly, a little off topic. I want to mention the women won again yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Well, they're into the quarterfinals.
Oh, yeah,
of the Cup. They won away to Reading. I believe it was Reading.
Yes.
I am actually a big fan of women's soccer. I used to cover the Boston Breakers years ago for Bleacher Report here in Boston, and I have 3 nieces who play, and I would love for someday for one of my nieces to wear the claret and blue. So I'm really excited about the growth of the women's team and the success they're having. That's pretty much it.
All right. Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. So I just want to mention our upcoming shows. We definitely have Boston on Sunday night, and we're going to be doing Sundays and Thursdays from now on. So we have Boston coming up on Sunday. Then next week, a week's time, we have Queen City Hammers out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And then God almighty, from there, man, it just gets crazy. We got Oklahoma the following Sunday, then Fresno, and then we got New York City Hammers, and then Mile High Hammers. Oh my God! And then, even more. Already confirmed. We have Alamo City after that, and we got Baltimore and Knoxville, and good gosh, we have 3 other groups that I'm in talks with right now, trying to secure a date, and there's a bunch of other ones that I'm trying to reach out to. So if you guys have a supporters group or know of a supporters group that we have not had on the show yet, or I didn't mention that we have scheduled, please get in touch with them and have them get in touch with us. We're all over social media. We're on Instagram at American Hammers TV. We're on Twitter as well at American Hammer 3. That
was my social media.
We're also on Facebook too. So we try our best to keep up with everything, but it's kind of a lot for 2 guys to do all this. It's bananas, but
and you know,
I don't know, it's nuts. Anyway,
in case anybody wonders, you just come on Google Hangouts. That's all there is to it. There's no.
It's really simple.
We have no
Wayne, did you have any issues getting on?
None at all. And like I said, I'm using my 7-year-old's iPad.
There you go, man. So we're making this blue collar. We're not all fancy schmancy and all that good stuff. We're just trying to, spread the word. Like I said before, our mission, I'll repeat this a million times. Our mission it's quite simple, man. We're just trying to, grow the American West Ham fan base first and foremost. Secondly, we're trying to get all the supporters groups together, and through this, hopefully, the guests that are on, maybe your supporters group might get some ideas from, and if you don't have a supporters group in your area, start one. It's that simple. Yeah. So anyway, that said, thank you so much, Wayne, for coming on. Good talking to you, Lee, as well. We'll talk to you off the air in about just a second. But West Ham till I die.
Yeah. Cheers, Wayne.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.